Okay, kiddos. This is your first DP project. This is a part of the art decathlon, which you're going to go through this year. I'll talk more about the decathlon itself. This is the very first project. I am so excited for you. I think this is going to be challenging, but I think it'll be rewarding. And I wanted to take this time just to talk about this project. It's the PDF I made. It's a little bit clunky and I'm not completely satisfied with it, so I kind of wanted to make a video just kind of talking through it. Maybe it'll um, help you understand kind of what the goals are. But we want to think about what's like the most basic thing we can do as artists or as people or as humans. And part of that is making a mark, making a line, a pattern, or a texture, tearing paper, making marks in stone. I wanted the very first project to kind of dig into our humanness and you know uh, the DP want they really want you to try a diverse body of things, and I think that this is gonna really kind of kick things off. It's gonna put you out of your comfort zone. And I think we're just going to attack it, and you're going to do amazing. I mean, you're going to make some incredible work. I just know it, and I think this is going to get things going. So I got cheesy titles, and this one's called "Make Your Mark." That's the best I could come up with. We want to think about beginnings. We want to think about uh, what is mark making, what is drawing, and how can we push ourselves and test that definition. So in the beginning of the PDF, I talk about like the beginnings of humanity and how there's art history and how we know about ourselves, how we like writing, how we create meaning and memory, and I was going for that. I love some of these quotes though. Um, Drawing is a part of life, and life is an occasion to draw. I want to go back to mark making though, and I talk about we're going to use mark making and drawing kind of interchangeably, and you want to think about the directness, how strong, how soft, how long, how wide, how it relates to your body. We draw with our bodies all the time. We draw with our hands, but we leave trails in the dirt with our feet. We write things on post-it notes. We scratch things. We draw. We make signals with our hands to motion to our friends. We check things off. We scratch things out. We push things. I mean, we make all kinds of marks every day, and it's just a part of being human. And so this project is, I'm trying to challenge you to think about, as you make marks for artistic purposes, how are you using your body? And since you're using your body, that opens all kind of doors. Man, now it's going to get, now we think about, is this, what kind of, is this performance, or how does this happen within time? And so this project is really twofold. There is the visual part of it, of making a work of art that we see, the product, and I talk about that a little bit here. But what's the relationship to the process? Like, how do we know how something's made? And if something is made a certain way, how does that change our interpretation, understanding of what we're looking at based on what we know or what we don't know about how it's made? Um, and we'll dive into that a little bit. So we got to think about mark making, and we got to think about process and product. Okay, I'm going to scroll down here. Whoa. So you got some guidelines here, and let me say, guidelines are to help you focus. They're to challenge you. They're not there because just because I'm a teacher and I have guidelines. They're there with a purpose. Um, and so what's going to happen is I'm going to give you a large sheet of just this wonderful drawing paper. It's just beautiful. It's 1 by 2 meters. Okay, so think about, that's pretty large scale. I can think about my relationship with my body to the paper. We'll have all kind of practice paper that you can, experiment on, and you'll have tons of paper you can use to test things out. But for your final piece, you got to use all of this paper in some way. So even if you're like, I'm going to chop this up, whatever, you have to incorporate and use all of the paper in some way. Lots of flexibility there. Any marks that you make must be created by you and or a tool that you make to make marks. So you can make your own tool, and that'll be a lot of fun. Um, you can use any medium of your choice, and I mean like just to throw things out there. I mean if you wanted to use light or more traditional mediums, charcoal and pencil, paper, um, paint. Oh, there's all kinds of really stretch yourself here. What are mediums that you could use for this project? How can we make marks? You can choose whatever you want, whatever you're drawn to, whatever your ideas lead you. But that's the one you choose. So you're going to choose one medium to kind of really push the medium. So if you choose like charcoal or charcoal powder, like you're going all in and you're going to like, how can I create with just this? So it's extremely focused. Um, so how can I make marks, right, on this giant piece of paper? How can I use this paper? And then, not to mention, on top of that, there's going to be a time-based element to this. So you got to think about how long it takes you to make this. And if you're doing it, what does it look like when you're doing it? Is this going to be engaging for someone to watch you do this? Or are you going to, how are you going to challenge the viewer while you make these marks? So that's a challenge as well. So your work can be created in any uh, length of time, but you're going to document it in a video. And so you're going to have to then come up with a video that's somewhere between 1 to 5 minutes, and at least 1 minute of the video. So maybe your whole thing takes you like 30 minutes to make. Hey, that's fine. But you need to document at least 1 to 5 minutes of that, or put together a video that speeds certain sections of it up. Or, you could do, maybe highlight certain parts of the video. That's totally cool. But at least 1 minute of that video needs to be real time. So we have to kind of know what the actual pace was, if that makes any sense. So you choose what minute you think is the most interesting that you need to keep as real time. But it's got to be at least 1 minute, 60 seconds. So you can film this whatever you want. You can do your computer, your phone, a more legitimate like camera, man, anything. If you need help with that, let me know. Your materials that you're going to be given are the paper. I'll have some, you know, ideas for medium we have in a classroom, but you can be independent if you want to use something else. You can. So, and when you create your own mark making tool, and you'll need something to record your work. Okay, so that's basic guidelines. I'm going to show you some work. I'm going to show you some artists that do things kind of similar to this. Of course, you want to make your own work, um, but some of those artists are here, and I'll tell you right away. We're going to look at Diogo Pimentel. He's a Portuguese artist. Tony Rico. We'll look at him a little bit, and I might show you a couple of other ones. But really, this is a starting point. So this artist list is really to get you to think about the research part of this and to know kind of what's already been made, but to also be inspired. And then these kind of names, go through these, and maybe there's some of them that you really, really, oh my goodness, I love their work, or you're going to start to build this library of artists that you're going to keep with you in your process portfolio, but then also later on for your comparative study. You're going to have like every project. I'm going to give you artists and artists and artists and artists, and you're just going to start familiarizing yourself with them. So this is, again, like I say here, it's not exhaustive. There's so many artists, I can't even keep track of all of them, but these are the ones that came to my mind first. Okay, so these are the ones that I felt like I kind of know their work a little bit. I kind of know what they're about. They're about mark making. They're about gestural abstraction. Some of them are more like time-based artists. Some of them are more performance artists. Some of them never do anything performative. They just do kind of drawing. It's kind of a wide variety. Try to have some male and female representation here. These are all just amazing people. Here are some of our key terms. You can kind of also use this as a place to do research. So you might want to look at time-based art. It'll give you even more artists, or performance art, or gestural abstraction, or just gesture. What is gesture? What does it mean? So these are some places that you could begin to on your hunt. Um, but yeah, oh man, I'm so excited to see what you guys come up with. I hope to talk about this as a group, but if not, maybe this video can kind of help you a little bit, at least for week one. Um, I'm gonna leave you there. So feel free to just really dig into your sketchbook and start thinking about materials, methods, meaning, and man, just go for it. See what you can come up with. I'll say this much: try to come up with as many ideas as you can, and just knowing that your 43rd in your 43rd idea is going to be a lot stronger than your second idea, right? So just begin experimenting and brainstorming, and then I honestly cannot wait to see what you come up with. We'll talk about due dates and those other kind of things later on, but this week is really about introducing you to our first idea, our first project, getting our hands dirty, and making art, which is what this is all about. All right, good luck.